going back to when I was a kid, I've always had this feeling that I was supposed to be doing certain things or kind of following a certain path. And I've learned to kind of just let it flow that way. And so, I mean, it's like it's the fabric of my work. Like my native heritage is the essence of what I do, and because it's very primitive, but so it allows me to connect to many things. Yeah, this used to have a driveway all the way up that way. My name is David Ocelotl Garcia, and I was born in Denver, Colorado. In this little house, nine children grew up, so you can imagine all the stuff that families go through during, you know, any family, but all the fun stuff I'm thinking about too. I grew up in Park Hill, so it's East Denver. We might have been one of the only Mexican families in that neighborhood because it was predominantly African American. And so it was really fascinating because in my house we were very Mexican, you know, like real traditional. But when we walked out, it was a whole different world. Hey man! Oh wow! What's up? This is like this is like a childhood friend right here.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, like from kids. I just had a bigger perspective on how the world is in my own little world, you know, if that makes sense. I mean, I made a lot of things as a kid, and I always felt like I wasn't myself anymore, like I was able to be many other things, like I could do anything in a way. It was very deep though. It was like almost like I didn't know what I was doing, but it felt like I was doing the right thing. I've developed my own technique because my path never led me to like studying in a school like on that level of art. They say classical education in art. My technique is a very elaborate process of layering colors and textures to achieve a certain thickness and also the translucency of the color, which I call abstract Imaginism. So abstract Imaginism is something I developed because of my love for abstraction. It's so instinctual and intuitive, and to me that's how you make art. You know, you use your instincts and intuition, and everything else doesn't matter. So I combine that concept with my passion for figurative work. That abstraction, that instinctual and intuition with figurative, which is more my imagination. Like I imagine all kinds of stories in my head, and so I kind of combine those together. It's a tool for me to say what I want to say, which is very essential for an artist to have.
This young man buying a rose for his girlfriend, it's as if you could read their minds or what they're experiencing at the moment. David Garcia is like the Diego Rivera of our times and here in the United States, because he creates work for the public, for the masses, not for just collectors or institutions, but art that's to be enjoyed by the whole community. And it's very relatable, very identifiable, specifically to the Mexicano and Latino communities.
You know, much of what I know and talk about is really my own personal opinion, because creativity is very subjective. It means different things for different people. I do painting, lots of mural work in my painting, but I also do sculpture as well, and that's specifically for lost wax, bronze technique. I particularly have a real passion about the term mural because I feel like it deserves to have lots of respect, because it's such a magnificent and like powerful thing. So a mural, for example, in relating to, again, maybe music, composition, very elaborate, you know, very complex. So the movement of a mural is very much like a musical composition. The content of the mural is very important. Content of a mural is really telling a story. So you need elements in there to tell this story. It's hard to tell a story if you have one or two elements, 3 elements, 4 elements. You need a whole orchestra of elements to tell a mural story. So you have your composition, which flows, keeps the elements speaking to each other. Then you have the content, people, plants, animals, landscape. You know, you have life. These all these characters, I call characters, have a purpose within this story. But just painting it, yeah, it took me a whole year. Honestly, I don't know how I made it. Just the way I guess I make everything, just on instinct in a way. It looks alive in here, this color in here, you know, like it's alive or something, I don't know. Because the piece is called El Viaje, or The Journey. So my intention was to take, you know, the viewer on a journey, kind of like a historical journey from Mexico to here, to the States, you know. So as you see this composition, it starts creating a coil, because our journey in life often resembles this cyclical movement cycle, and it kind of mimics the movement of the earth and nature. So it starts here with the story of creation, which turns into a ceremony. So it's a native ceremony. You'll see fire, water, into a Mexican Revolution, you know, which was very significant. My intention here was to show an historical depiction in my own way, but it was the Mexican-American War. And so this is like a family that's come from this journey, and they're traveling this way. So as they're moving in, I created this train, because I've realized that the train really has impacted every city in the country, and all this, you know, the whole continent. You know, it's the idea that the trains access these spaces where people couldn't get to. Now it moves up to the next tier from here. So that's why I moved it's like the train, the railroad is moving up. So it keeps moving on in history to more of the braceros, as we know, in the Chicano movement and all that. But in front of that, you'll see like a native symbol, like the indigenous people. This character, if you see him, he's kind of pushing down like this oppressive skeleton, you know. He's like rising above it and has vision, which is like this mirror, and it's kind of an eye. So these characters are kind of like the future, like they're harnessing nature and they're able to like move forward. So it's just an idea of that we can find the future maybe in connecting with nature and being more peaceful and more aware and more respectful of all living things, you know. Art represents history, you know, it depicts where we come from and who we are, and like it allows us to connect with nature, you know, through the art. We can connect with nature. We can connect spiritually through art. It's part of who we are, you know, and so it shouldn't be overlooked. It should be very embraced, and I think it's important to encourage your children or your relatives to make art and make more opportunities in the arts, and like, you know, and just embrace it that way. It's very powerful piece to what we have in our world. The one thing for like emerging artists is just really try to be as genuine as you can in your work. Like try to follow the path you feel like, the creative path you want to take. I would think that would be the most important thing, is just really follow your passion in a genuine way. And it's easy to be influenced by others, which is great because it could lead you in many directions. But the most important is just being yourself. And that's the most original thing that you can offer for people, is yourself, you know, the way you work, the way you paint, the way you sing, the way you do your thing. No one else does that except for you. And that's what I like to see. I like to see people be themselves, and like it makes the world a really interesting place when everyone does things their own way.